Hello, everybody. Welcome to Adventures for Connection with Tanya. And today we have Norma with us. And today we're going to chat a little bit about a few questions that have come up, a little bit about Shasta, a lot about the heart. And we're just going to wait for a few people to come in, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So how's everyone doing today? Norma, how are you doing today?
I'm doing exceptionally well. How about you, Tanya?
It's been a really good, fascinating frolic, so to speak.
Gotta begin somewhere, right?
Right? Yeah. So this morning, Jade and I went to something called Meow Fest, and I actually found it online and sent it to her because she loves kitties. And then as I sent it to her, she was very quick to say, yes, let's go. So I booked a ticket, and thank goodness not a VIP. And it was quite entertaining because we get there and it was like, oh, there's hardly any kitties. There's a heck of a lot of stores. So we paid a ticket and paid for parking to go pay to shop. And I was like, did I really just pay for this? And so I should have taken some photos, but there's this big cat with a fuzzy head, and then the rest of it was kind of like a drop sheet. And then you could take its paws and wrap them around you and have a picture taken. And then there's life-size kitty cat tree that you could climb on and be a cat and have a picture taken. Jade and I were just like, where are we?
Oh.
So needless to say, I think we lasted about 33 minutes and we were out of there by the time we walked it all. So yeah, pretty funny and pretty entertaining. So yeah, absolutely. And we don't seem to have anyone in the live chat. I know I've got some on Facebook. Can somebody confirm with me that is actually on Rumble? Because I'm not seeing that pop up, although it does say we're live over there. So I just wanted to double check. And yeah, it's all good. We are early, and so that may affect that. So I'm just going to take a second. Norma, why don't we do this? Why don't we talk a little bit first about Mount Shasta?
Okay.
And hello, Rebel Mama. Thank you so much for us coming in and into Mount Shasta, sort of how that unfolded. Where did we end up and who did we see?
Well, we're supposed to meet up with a couple of the others. However, that didn't work out. But that's okay because you'll have to bear with me because I don't remember all the names. I just enjoyed the beauty of the place whenever we were there. So
absolutely,
we went up there to just man, the drive up there was beautiful. Just the winding road and going up the mountain and just seeing different aspects of how the mountain presented itself was beautiful. It was just majestic in its own right. So as we get up there, it took us a few minutes to figure out where exactly we needed to be to enjoy the hike that we went up there to do. So, but we went up there, and the most majestic thing for me was seeing the veins of the water that comes out from the top of Mount Shasta. And it's just the sound and the feel of the water and just the crispness. Okay, never mind. That it just felt good, and I have this thing that where, while I was there, I put my hands on the water, and you can feel the heartbeat of just the water itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I stood in that, and we'll share a little bit of that later on. I'll pull up a video for that. And then we also went to so when we first got in, we went to the springs because I was told from a friend of a friend from to go there and drink the water. First thing you should do when you get there, go. And as we were coming in, you're climbing up from Reading in the airport that we came from. And as you're climbing up, you could feel the pickup of the energy, the shift in the energy. And it was incredible because as we got there and we went into the springs, we run into Serafina, Jazz Deep, and Christina, which ended up being our Dunsmuir family. We were staying in a different house, and we really loved that we got our own little space there and had our own little hovel, so to speak, to retreat to after the retreats events. And it was really beautiful. There was they were sitting there, and I had not met Serafina in person. We've been online for about 3 years together, doing work together. So yeah, totally fascinating to be able to give her a hug. And we all just sat there and took in the beauty of the springs, and you could feel the energy. So once you really learn how to feel in your body, you start to sense what affects you or what changes for you as you enter different spaces, as you eat or drink something. So you start to have this more symbiotic relationship with your body. Would you agree?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you drink the water, because you can feel the purity of it as you drink it, and it enters the body, and it's different because it's like it just burst into
Yeah.
every cell and every it's like it's a purification.
Yes.
It's so alive. It's
Yeah.
the best way to describe it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And there's a big difference even in the smell of it, the feel of
Mhm.
it. It
Yes.
feels different. So when you start to use these beautiful senses that we have to interact with your day to day, now you're becoming the observer even more. And that's probably what I could really recommend for people is to step into being that observer as much as you possibly can, and and ask questions, and as you do that, things will start to unfold more and more and more. So you know we keep likening this to a bit of a fun game per se. And even this morning, so there's certain people I go to for little pieces of news that I will grab. And one of them is this fellow Sirius B on what is it, X now? It's no longer
Yeah.
Twitter. There's no longer tweets, there's X's.
Mhm.
X marks the
Yeah.
spot. He's a shaman, and he's very cryptic in his messages, but I always find resonance, especially when he shows a photo. And so I'm like, oh, Norma needs to see these. And I sent over these coins. Let me see if I can
Mhm.
grab a couple of them here, just to see what you guys think. Now, this is how this unfolds. You get shown what you need to be shown when it's time for you to see it. And so we don't chase information. It's generally comes into our field. We're now presented with it, and then we can explore it or not.
Yes.
We still get that choice. And so as we go through and we explore these things, this is where it becomes quite incredible. I'm just going to pull in an extra camera for this. There we go. And what is fascinating about it is that I see something, but then Norma sees something completely different and then flips it back to me in a new way. And I'm like, yes, yes, that's the answer.
Ebb
And
and
so
flow.
Yeah, and this happens every day. This is what's fascinating about this game is that it happens every day. Something comes in. Some days are
Mhm.
bigger than others. Some days are smaller than others. Some days are integration days. What do I need to sit with today? What do I need to focus on? Oh, I need to go have a napadation again. And so napadations are when you kind of drop into a bit of a nap, but you're also meditating at the same time. So
Yes.
yeah, those ones I don't quite drop right out, but I'm sort of floating in that in between space per se, which can be quite beautiful. So, anyways, we see these coins, and a lot of them are about Atlantis, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And let me just share my screen here. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if I can just share. Do I get that choice? Bear with me, guys. This is not my best forte. No, I can't share that. Okay. So we'll pull this in and let me just get it pulled up. Yeah. There we go. And when we do this, and I just got to go over to here, and I'm just gonna load it up first so I'm not like boring you all with my screen. And so, we get these photos and say a little bit more about the coins because there were different coins and then what were they really about? And then I'll get this pulled up.
Well, he was describing each coin to be, it was a connection from them to us. It was kind of like their way of showing us that they wanted us to speak to them about our what we truly want and the freedoms that we want as human beings. This was kind of like a collaboration between them and us
Yeah.
that these coins were created. And as I was looking at these coins, they each represent something different, yet they mean the same. And this one right here, of course, is an Atlantis coin. And as I was looking at that, it was amazing because of the what I got Monday and
Yeah.
have sent to you of a picture of the DNA that I had drew up. And as I was looking at this, the more I looked at it, I was like, this has everything to do with sight. This is about the sight that we have, not eyes, the sight, because the sight is the projector of the pineal gland. And so as this kept coming through to me, and then as you go further into looking at the rest of the coins that are there, I started putting one and two together. I was like, hold up, this has such a deep meaning to it that the tentacles of the octopus was so relevant to me. And of course, me sharing this with you, it just all began to make sense. And there's still so much more to these coins that I still need to do some more in-depth sitting with it
Yeah.
to see what else comes through. But it was just mind-blowing to me what I was seeing, what I was being shown, because as I was sitting with them, I was like, show me what I don't know. Show me
Yeah.
what it is I need to see about these coins.
Yeah. And I literally dropped over there kind of last minute on a whim. And I literally search for him, get in, and I get out because I don't want to sit in there and scroll. But you can see I popped onto this. The first one was like 42 seconds. Like I literally, the
Mhm.
timing was impeccable. And so then we've got a couple more. Do you understand? Technology to travel to two timelines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this looks a lot like an affinity symbol on top of the top coin there. Hey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and these are the parts that I've got to sit with a little longer because each coin, as he speaks about these coins, he's saying, pay attention to the detail.
Yeah.
It's about the deeper meaning of what these coins represent as they were created. Even he speaks about that the colors and the designs are very important as um, you look upon these coins and look for the different aspects. And there was
Yeah.
a few of them. There was one that I really seen that there was like what looked like light in it. And once we come across it, I'll
Yeah.
point it out.
But look at the detail. Like,
Mhm.
the amount of detail in these is just incredible. Like, look at the ocean's alive at the bottom. It's moving.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he even speaks about that the water, the ocean, the depths. So
Yeah.
when you talk about that, we're still talking about the as above, so below concept here. the understanding of the inner individual, the heart space, the connection.
And when he says they enjoy manipulating timelines to see us happy, symbiosis is needed between humans and them, negotiate for peace. So are we talking about the octopus at that point, correct?
The octopus, for me, in what he speaks about is the octopus are the many timelines.
Yeah.
That's what I perceive it to be,
Yeah.
because the head of the octopus is the collective. It's the collaboration, the collective. And for each, what is it called? The suction of the tentacles is what brings about the experiences we all each individually perceive as that we bring into fruition when we imagine them.
Yeah.
So that's what I was getting.
Right. And then let's talk about the eye here, because you had some really good points about the eye.
Yeah, the tentacles I represented with the blood vessels. And then as the pupil is the projector. So when people understand that instead of using your eyes to see, it's about looking upon the landscape you're looking at and asking, you're asking, show me what I don't see. Show me what the eyes cannot tell me is there. Show me what I can project there as an as an image that I would love to experience. So it's about the connection to understand that when you've seen an octopus underwater and it takes off, what does it do? It stretches out. So you have the head and then you have the tentacles that are behind it as you're going. And I was like, hold up. To me, that is the pineal gland. The octopus represents the pineal gland itself and its connection to the optics of the nerves and the optic nerves, the retinas. It's hard to explain when, it's just hard to explain what I see in my head, or what they give me.
Yeah.
And as far as where the octopus is concerned, it has two hearts. And when you look at the coins, it talks about, the two dimensions, that you can be in two dimensions at once. It's like, it's a balance from what I was perceiving. It was a balance that you have two worlds you can see. One is just as the above, so below, the 3D, the 4D, the 5D, just depending on the dimensions. And with the optic and with the octopus and what it represents is it just depends on where you're coming from, whether you're coming from the brain or you're coming from the heart. And the heart space is what's going to help you perceive in a totally different spectrum. It's mind-blowing to me. And I hate that sometimes it's hard to explain what I see.
That's okay.
But it's just beautiful.
So this is just something that happened this morning within about a half an hour space. So this is what I mean about getting curious and observing. And I didn't get that from those coins right away. I was like, oh, I have to send these to Norma. I just knew that I needed to send them to her because of the way she says, oh, 17Q did an appellation out for me in gematria. Thank you, 17Q. I'm gonna do a little dictionary and all these words, because we've been talking since Shasta a lot about blissipline and staying in that blissipline, which is just pure freaking love. It's just been incredible. There's been lots of emotional rides around it, because even when we said goodbye, none of us wanted to say goodbye. We just
did not want to leave.
Yeah, look at napadation.
Oh, Kundalini, pineal gland. I mean, the synchronicities are just so, it's just beautiful to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't just take it for what it is. We're not trying to confuse you. What we're talking about is that we believe in this. We're all in a specific timeline. So let's take it back to the basics. We're in a specific timeline, and every time we choose to go down another path and then even pull back, we've started a new, very vague timeline. So it's like energy. So it's points of energy vibrating at different levels. So I don't believe that we have past lives in the linear sense. We're talking more like lineage, right? We're
Yes.
talking about this, the timelines, it's all just vibrating at different frequencies, and therefore we can only perceive the frequency that we're in because that's what we're aligned to at this time. And so as we grow and get to know ourselves better and get to know our bodies better and get to know how to consciously choose what timeline we would like to be in, we can change our lives. And so there's this ability, you hear about time travel, right? So you hear about, look at Back to the Future, for example, or a lot of people will say that Trump is a time traveler, right? There's a lot of synchronicities around some of that, and there's lots of proof of time travel from specific news reports. Some guy popped in, was missing for over 100 years, and then popped in and got hit by a car because cars just weren't there that way then. And he had all this old stuff in his pocket. So it is possible. It may seem far-fetched. So then what we've been stepping into now is this better understanding about, okay, so how do we get this body ready for something like this? That's kind of where we're at. It doesn't mean we're close to it. It doesn't mean we're far from it. We don't know. So we're playing. We're playing this adventure game. And we could also at this time talk a little bit about when you choose to not do something, you choose to clear something out of your field. So when I got back from Shasta, people kept popping into my head and I kept getting a yes or no. And it was just like clear, clear, clear. So those are, I'm choosing where I would like to go. And I know where I'm going pretty much. And so I've been guided to go this way. And then that whole vision of me calling all my energy back to me through all time, dimension, and space is another thing, right? That getting outside and grounding and doing that 3 times. Because, we're multi-dimensional beings. And again, as we talk about these timelines, because not all of our being can be in this avatar at one time yet, but we are gaining towards that. So I hope we're not confusing you more. So what we want to do is get this avatar, this body, ready to go from carbon, moving it into crystalline, which it already is. If you're on here, you already are. You're already aware of it. So as the energies increase on Earth, as the chaos continues, so to speak, we're getting increased energies. And as that happens, your body shifts. You eat less. You maybe nap a little more. You slow down. You perceive things differently. So there's all these shifts that start to happen for you that as you embrace them more and more, you start to land into this new space. And that's kind of what we're referring to as having this new observation, especially after Shasta. So not only did we get to drop in and meet with Serafina, we also had quite the weekend experience. On the Friday, like we went to 3 different waterfalls. All of them were magic. Like the water is so much more than we can even start to begin to describe right now. But there was definitely divine feminine at the one waterfall where it was dropping off the edge and you could see the energy being within it.
Yes.
And that was quite stunning. So we have all these opportunities to explore nature in a new way, to look at a blackberry in a new way. We were picking blackberries and Norma could see the energy points from all the little round spots. She's like, oh, they're their own little, of course they are. They're alive, right? Until you pick it and put it in your mouth and go, yum.
They definitely taste definitely different from your perspective, from your perception. It changes it for you.
Yes, yes. And then just drinking as much water as I could from down there to let this body have that and let the body heal from it and just take it all in. Yeah, it was. Yes, here we go. Yeah. And look at this one. Could the suction cups be different dimension beings getting sucked into? Interesting thought. Possibly, Donna. Yeah,
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible at this point. Yeah, and it was amazing. The whole weekend was amazing. We had we did a So guess what, guys? We'll be doing a retreat at SHASTA. Probably with Serafina too. So yes. That's the plan. So I'll go somewhere and then I set it up and I'm like, oh, I've got this space, that space, that space. And we just create. And I already know where we need to go. So, and yeah, the way I do things is definitely very organic and very energy conscientious, so to speak. So we did do some plant medicine while there, which I think is a nice opportunity to get you out of your head. And so the first night we did sassafras, and sassafras is a bark and a root, I believe, as well. And they take the essence out of it, what is good about it, and put it into a powder in capsuled form so you can control the dosage. And what it is like MDMA, but it's a natural plant medicine. So it's not chemical whatsoever. So very important to me too is where did it come from? Has it been synchronized? Has it been blessed? And of course it all was. Now I've done that one once before. It was Norma's first time. Would you like to share your experience, Norma?
You know, it was, oh man, and I'll try and do this without crying. You know, when you get the conditioned self completely and totally out of the way, it's so miraculous what you see, because you're not seeing outside who you are or what this is. You're seeing it from the inside and it's projecting itself out. That was the beauty about the sassafras, was that it was in the beginning when it first hit me, it was like I had a huge release that I need to do away with, and I don't know what that was, and it doesn't matter. What was important was that I released it.
I know what it was.
I'm glad somebody does.
Right.
Anyway, so it was just, you know, when I did the mushrooms, it was opening. It showed me a lot. It still got me out of the way, but the sassafras was totally different.
Yes.
It really just opened me up to the person, to the individual, to the being I really am within. It was really truly a heart opener, because when I looked at this night sky, it's not the night sky you look at every day here in this 3D.
No.
And I'm like, oh my, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. Look at the beauty of who we are. It's beyond the 3D imagination. We're so expansive. There's so much to us. It's so beautiful in being in that heart space and seeing the other individuals that were there and seeing them so clearly, seeing them for massively who they are, because you're not looking at the avatar. You're seeing their complete makeup of the essence that they are. I mean, it was just, I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm vibrating right now because of just being back in that space and that place and knowing what I experienced. And it was just profound, beyond profound. And it's true. When you have these experiences, there's no words. There's no words. Yeah. It's about the feeling. It's about the excitement and what it brings, and the love and the joy and the peace and just all the wonderful things us as human beings are always striving to experience. It's there, but it's not out here. It's in here. Every single bit of it.
The only way out is in. Yeah. Yeah. And so I've done quite a bit of plant medicine. Some people like to call me a psychonaut over the years. And it's because, you know, I find it very beneficial for me to know. And it's because probably I used most drugs throughout my life and never got off on it the way everybody else did. It never affected me quite the same way. And so the opposite side of that was like, okay, plant medicine. And then what is that bridge between each type? So you have an addiction to this. What can this do for you? And that's been the beautiful unfolding around that for me, to just know where to meet people where they are and to be able to take them to a more natural state. So if somebody has a huge addiction, I know what to recommend for them. And it can be a really painless transition to the other side, so to speak, because quite often some of those are really hard to get off of. And so the sassafras is quite beautiful. And for me, I got to be an anchor. I am an anchor. I am a container. And I just held space for people. And I actually did a lap around everyone as everyone was sitting in a circle. And everyone kind of looked at me and I was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's just something that
No,
I
it's
do.
fine.
It's an energetic container that I whipped
Mhm.
up so that I had that space for everyone to be held. And I would know actually if somebody left the property, right? I would be able to tell. So I just did that little loop. And yeah, Norma got hit pretty hard. And so a few other people did as well. But it was a beautiful unfolding. And it's so heart opening that that was a bridge into the weekend where everyone just let go. They let go because they had to let go. They didn't have a choice. And so that was quite nice and very beautiful. And it lasts about 6, 7 hours, although for me, it's like almost a 24-hour loop to come back into like, oh, here I am. So it's a very
Right.
soft reentry. It's not painful. You don't feel sick. You
Mhm.
don't feel hungover. You just feel like you need some napadation. So you're integrating what you took in. So there's healing that comes in. There's energy stuff that was going on. There's letting go and releasing what no longer serves you, which is a big part of it. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you, 17. Thank you. And then the next day, we did some. It's called changa, and that is a plant medicine as well, created from DMT in a natural state. So again, not the chemical DMT because there is that as well, but the other one. So here's sassafras, the golden age, the god set, fascinating quartz, melatonin, light of God. Absolutely. Nature gives us these gifts. And so Tony's the one that creates this other one. And he actually knows me from watching videos, which is interesting. Yep. Small world. And he does a combination with some other herbs. And when he does that and then charges them frequency wise and does all this work, and this one's about a 45-minute to an hour trip. And this one, you must fully surrender. You have no choice.
Mhm.
It's eye mask on, lie down. And so what happens at first is you get a lot of um, like grids and mandalas and color. And there's quite a bit going on. And then as it softens in, and you can have an intention, right? And as it softens in, you start to interact more with it per se. I do anyway, because I'm just observing what's going on and I try and interact and ask those questions. So messages from guides, deep, 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 deep healing and codes coming into me. Um, Kirsten, one of the other hosts there, could really see the codes going in, which was fascinating. And then I ended up doing it again on Sunday because the only one that did double. I'm like, I'll go again because I really wanted to see what else would come through now that and as soon as I dropped in, I'm like, I've done this before, although not in this lifetime. But I was like, I've done this before. So that just helped to relax me into it as well. Um, yeah, and it's like, can you observe without they keep you in the body a bit as you're going through it with some sounds and stuff, which also increases the visuals. But the second time around, I was like, just leave me alone. I want to go. Like I wanted to go explore, knowing that I'd still be with my body. And so then I had the fun game of, well, they can do whatever they want, and I'm just going to ignore it and go. So I didn't move. I did. They're like, you were gone. And I was like, no, I was just out of the body and just allowing the experience to happen. Now, what comes out of that in the end was some huge, huge heart openings, even like from Friday all the way through. And then it just got stronger and stronger. And we went out in nature again on Monday. Monday morning, went out for another hike to other waterfalls. That's all we kept doing was hitting waterfalls because that seemed, and water, going near water, going to the lake, wherever we needed to go to be near the water so that we could like drop whatever needed to be dropped and then integrate more things as well. And so the experience is quite beautiful and I never felt unsafe ever. So I always felt safe. I always felt taken care of. I was never concerned. Nobody was. And there was a lot of new people there, a lot of people
Yes.
that never tried anything. So that was quite fascinating. And then they also had some lasers set up. There was some artifacts there and different stones, which were interesting. And Tim came, who had all this healing modality stuff that he was working on people and helping people through some of their body aches and pains. And Serafina got some new healing techniques and dropped those in on a bunch of us.
Yep.
Yeah. What was your experience like with the DMT?
Wow. I feel that probably mine was probably totally the most probably different from anyone else.
Yeah.
Mine was it was powerful in its own way. Um, because I didn't stay in as long as most other people because I was still wrestling with emotion with an emotion that I still had yet to release. Yet doing that helped me to release that. And I came out the first time because I recognized fully and completely I've done this before more than once. And that was a huge recognition for me. I was like, I've been here, I know this, I've done this multiple times. And you know, even with that emotion that was still there, I was feeling at the time, I was like, I don't want to fail this time. I want to make sure this time I go all the way through with this. And you know, and I was talking to Kirsten because she was the one that was there, and I was telling her, I said, I've done this before. I said, I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. And she's like, you're not failing at anything. It's just, it is what's going on. It's where you are, you know? So, you know, and then I fell back in and went back in, and then I started being shown past lives. Started to see being shown past lives in ways of color, because color helps you to maneuver just the emotions that are there, and which was okay. And but what kept coming up for me was this deep rooted hurt that I have carried for a long time, that just was like I had to get up and leave because my emotional state was beginning to alter, and I didn't want to, affect what was happening for the others. And I just had to walk away. I had to go feel this. I had to go and let it do what it needed to be done, and that's what I did. And by the time Monday rolled around, I came to a full recognition and understanding of what all that was and what it meant for me. And by Monday night, I was at peace. I'd let go. I'd let go of so much. And from that moment, it was just all it's been is integrating and understanding and forgiving myself for my choices.
Yeah.
And knowing that I was just being human because I didn't know any different, but I do now. And knowing that this whole time while I was having this experience, even up to this point, I was still being a loving being. I just wasn't able or capable of understanding how to be it fully until now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we'll be doing something here in Vancouver. I already know that. It'll be coming locally. So just know that. And we're in discussions right now about what could be. And then on our final day, we went out for a little hike, and look at it, it's the size of my head pine cone. Brought it home. Jade held it and she goes, it's really pokey. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's really pokey. Look at that. But look at the size of that pine cone. And we were discussing this a little bit last week, but Norma had visions of us, this being on another planet in life, like, multi, like much bigger. And in each one of these little slots, we could slide in and have healing, not in like a med bed, but much stronger. So it's amazing what comes through as we play and explore these things that drop in. So yeah, I was supposed to bring that home for Jade, and so I was surprised that it didn't get taken out. I'm like, I thought you weren't allowed to carry plant material, but I was just sat there with a smile. I'm like the little kid that goes out hiking. I got rocks in my pockets. I brought a bunch of acorns home. I'm like, oh, look what I found.
And what I just got from that too, just sitting here was, what if it's that our higher selves are actually sitting in there, and that's the reason and purpose of us being here as well. I mean, the possibilities of what you see and what you're given in your understanding is so boundless, is so endless.
Yes.
And as you're sitting here, you're showing that, I was like, that's what I got. What if who we really are is in there, and this is how we're integrating with ourselves?
Right.
It just keeps coming. It just keeps coming.
Yeah. On that note, let's talk about this 3D, 5D that keeps coming up, and I keep getting asked about recently. Is, we don't need to talk so much. I'm happy to chat a little bit about what I perceive will be happening as next steps around that. But what would be your description of 3D versus 5D?
Well, being as though it's like I'm there, you
Yeah.
just everything becomes more vibrant. It's so the clarity of where you are in contrast to this place outside of you. Where you are inside is what matters most as to what D you're in. It really does, because since I've met you, the D's have just changed for me. Okay, and since we've come together and understood things together, it's like I can't tell you how many D's I've gone, but I can tell you it's definitely not 3D anymore, and it's my perception, because it starts from here and comes out. So that's how you understand, because you feel it. It's a
Yeah.
feeling. It is totally a feeling, because, and then you see I mean, I was sitting out at the tree the other day, okay, and I'm just sitting with the tree, feet on the ground, just enjoying seeing the vibrancy and just laughing because I had ants crawling up and I was just laughing like a child. It was so beautiful. And seeing the light that everything is, because it's within us. Outside of you, you just start having fun with the creations that are here, and you begin to see them fully for what they are. And it's the beauty of the manifestation of the tangible experience that as human beings came here to have. You just come to a deeper understanding of what that is. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
So beautiful.
absolutely. Absolutely. And so, we want to believe that it's going to be a completely flip and a different view on things, but your frequency has to be in the right space. So it's more
Mhm.
about the frequency that you're resonating at. And I'm finding that I got to go into it for some work stuff, putting on my Powell painting hat. I might as well say I'm putting on my 3D hat, right? But
Right.
I can't say that, but I can say I'm putting on my Powell painting hat because I'm talking about so much more these days. And so by doing that, I can dip in and then I kind of get out right away. Though something like that meow thing. Jade's like, these are all the people that are they like cats. They like the observation of cats. She goes, very few of these people want the feeling of a cat or to have that
Right.
bond with the cat. This is more about what they perceive a cat to be and what it means to them. I'm like, that's a really good perception, Jade. And then even at the restaurant last night, she she looks at me and she goes, server simulation. I'm like, what's that? She goes, that server has no personality, mom. I'm like, oh, kind of like a clone, huh? And then
Right.
we observed her and she had no, like, she's like, Jade said, the people seating us had more personality, right? There was that
Right.
interaction there and an energy there. And then it just went flat.
You
She's
know
like,
the difference. Even she can. Yeah.
right?
Beautiful.
And yeah, so it's just so once you start to observe those differences, now you can start to choose, oh, is that for my highest good? Should I do that or should I do this? And make some decisions based on that. So
Yes.
to say what's going to happen for three, so we don't think there's not this huge split per se. There are a timeline split, which I perceive a little bit differently than I do 3D versus 5D.
Mhm.
And the timeline split has to do more with those that want to stay in the system, the matrix, and those that don't. And that's the split we see kind of coming right now. The dates are November 8th and 9th, but don't hold us to it, please,
Right.
because of course we affect those changes. And so in perceiving this and perceiving that we are choosing our reality at all times, it's really important what you're going to take in. It's really
Very.
important what you're going to observe and give your attention to. This month is the month up until the fall solstice, well, what we call the fall solstice here in North America, to run your energies, get them cleaned up, release, 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 integrate, rest. Do it again. That's what's happening this month. This is your opportunity. If you are finding you're hitting resistance or it's sticky in your, stop and sit back. What am I not seeing? What do I need to see that I'm not seeing? Because there's something stopping you, whether it's your higher self or it's not the path you're supposed to be on. It could be your guides. So it's not your path. And yes, nature's very nurturing. Thank you for that reminder. Yeah, get out in nature and breath. Absolutely. Belly breathing. And then operating from your heart, not your head. There's a big difference. Don't think your way through this. Feel your way through it. Because that's how we manifest, is through those emotions. And we don't need to chase anything. There's no more chasing. Seraphine and I'll tap into that again as well. And there's some pretty mind-blowing healings that have started now. And even that I did that night with at the site when we were trying to say goodnight. And then I ended up just dropping down and helping somebody. And I didn't know I just did what I was guided to do. And she's like, the woman who was struggling said, "What did you do? You fixed it." And I was like, she's like, so she was having this experience that I wasn't having her experience. I was just being a conduit. And so there's new energies coming in every single day to allow for instant healing, instant manifestations. You manifested something last night. You were like so excited, like a little kid about it. Look what
I
I
was,
did.
I was, I was. It was funny, even though, when you get into this state, the kid in you shows up more. It really does. And I was looking for, of course, chocolate, and I was like, there's no chocolate. But by the time I said that, my mom called. She's like, "Oh, I'm at Dairy Queen. You want something?" I was like, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." I want a Sunday. So, even though it was the worst Sunday I ever tasted in my life, it didn't matter. I was grateful for it. It was a beautiful process that it just immediately just
Yeah.
manifested itself. And I'm like, "Ooh, this is fun." So, yeah,
Absolutely.
it was just beautiful. Beautiful.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that happened for Norma and I over this, we've known that we're supposed to be working together.
Yeah.
There's something about the two of us, like we sat back to back before we went to the airport and could feel a vortex around us. So we know that there is something to the two of us working together to help transform. And it's not just the two of us, the whole soul family.
Right.
As we get to know one another and then add another in and then add another in, it's going to become this tribe of healers, basically,
Mhm.
or way showers or light beings, whatever you want to call it, to help guide and activate others. So
Yes.
this is my wish for all of you, is that some of these words you don't understand yet, but then somebody's going to say something to you in a couple days. Tanya said that, or Norma said that. These are just seeds we're planting to help activate you in a new way. Because once you get here, oh, there's no going back.
You're not going to want to go back. You're not going to want to.
No,
Beautiful.
no. That's not, it's just physically not possible at this point.
Nope.
And I can really observe and still, like, we went out to the night market last night and ended up sitting in a restaurant and eating, and it's good to get Jade out of the house a bit more. And we came around the corner in the market and there's this handmade recycled top and long skirt that's floral print. It was really beautiful. And I could just see Jade's like, "Oh, that's mine." I can feel the energy and I'm like, "You just have to try it on. I'm not buying it
Right.
until you try it on." And so we met this beautiful soul that takes and recycles these old fabrics, and they were all cotton, all beautiful. And when Jade lets me take a photo, I will. But she ended up with that, and then she was glowing the rest of the night. She was just so happy about finding something that's just hers and was meant for her to find. It's like a treasure hunt. So
Beautiful.
it was really beautiful, because my daughter's been, she's had a rough couple years with being at home and going through what I would say a little dark night of the soul, and trying to figure out how she fits into this reality. And she's never fit into the norm per se, because I raised her to be her own little soul and to have her own thoughts and minds. And she's a very powerful being in her own right. And she's now is her time to blossom. Now she gets to come out. Now she gets to see what the energy. Yes, there's some green in the dress and some pale pink. And Jade's quite pale, so it looks really good on her. So unlike the Egyptian and me, I'm always got a bit of color. She's quite pale. And it's got green leaves in the dress. Yeah. It's all cotton. It's really beautiful. Yeah. Sherry, thank you. Sherry says we're both magical. Yeah. And yes, getting out in nature, breathing. Cindy, yes, we are definitely like workers. Absolutely. We're just letting, and it's not that, then let's talk about that again too. It's not that I'm here to heal you. I'm here to show, oh, good. 17Q picked up green in the dress. Awesome. To show you how to vibrate at this frequency.
Yeah.
I'm giving that to you at this moment. This is the energy we're giving you. This is the love I'm sending out to you right now. And I don't know if you can feel it, but I am vibrating right now because this is when I ask your avatar and your energy being to rise to this vibration and get a sense of what it feels like. Now you have to make the choices to continue that
Right.
feeling. She dropped it off. She's like, here it is. So James is obviously down. So this is the top. These are the puffy sleeves. And then it's got a full wrap around with a big bow. So that's the top. And there's the skirt. Let me hold it. And it's just, these are really simple. They're like kind of size. So it's lined. And then it just wraps around and also ties in a bow. And it's quite long. Now Jade is very lean. So it looks quite beautiful on her. It's not a me outfit. I look pretty funny in it. I look like
Me too.
Anne of Green Gables, don't you? Yeah. So yeah, it's very angelic. It looks so beautiful on her. I'm
Yeah,
so
no,
happy.
you can see the I see the beauty of the age of what it represents. Time.
Yes.
The
Yes.
time that's been brought together and been re-enlivened, if
Yes.
you like to say. So yeah, no, that it's beautiful for what it represents, especially for her. I can see that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, and even her energy's been shifting and she's observing things differently. So it's it's just so fun. It's like you wake up and go, I wonder what magic's going to happen today. Yeah. And so I just want to do a little extra love out for you guys or anybody watching the video. You can accept it or you can say no, thank you. It's up to you. I'm just going to send some love out before we wrap things out. A little grounding if you're not grounded. Some of you need to drink more water. Water is very, 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 very important right now. Yeah, very important. And what you choose to put into your avatar. Remember that food is frequency. And remember that sleep is very, very, very important. And I find some nights I sleep amazing, other nights more is going on than I can keep up with. Therefore, I need my napitations. Napitations are important. But this bliss right now, this vibration. So at 1:30 today, jumping on as well with Serafina to talk about Egypt. Now that's on my personal Facebook and the same YouTube on here and my own Rumble. So it's not on the FCB channel because it's kind of separate. So I've separated that. And her and I are going to talk a little bit about Egypt and some of the healing that's going to go on for people there. We knew it was going to be big, but it just got a lot bigger. So can heal you right in your cells. You can start to transmute anything that no longer serves you. Modalities are all going to go out the window. It's not going to be required. Oh, and at 3:30 today, I'm also doing a test run, whether or not you want to join for the website. So that just got posted. Let me grab it and post it in the other chat. Um, I'm starting a new on my website every 30 days, free healings and guiding. So if you want to jump on there, that's just going to replace for this week the usual inner collective I do. Yeah. Few more minutes. Just take a deep breath, everybody, and breathe from your belly for me. One more deep breath. There we go. Awesome. Yeah. That's emotions letting go. So let those emotions go. Absolutely. This is the gift that was given at Shasta. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot. I'm still unpacking it every day. Every day something else shows up and it's like, whoop. Norma's drawing mandalas on the ground and they were showing up in the sky. And we weren't on any plant medicine.
Nope.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Intention is so beautiful.
Yeah.
You're just the love behind the intention that you set, no matter what the modality is that you're utilizing or using, or the gift that you have when you come into. Intention is so vitally important in what it is that you experience
Yeah.
for self and others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's time. So, if I wouldn't be waiting for anything, anything at all. Don't wait. Start taking the steps in the direction you would like to go. Start writing it out, start speaking it out, start calling yourself back through all time, dimension, and space. It's your time to shine right now. We're not waiting for anything. Nothing.
Mm.
It will all unfold as it's meant to unfold over there, over there. What you need to work on is right here. It's within you. There's nothing outside of you that is more important than operating from within and what you need for you. No fear, only love. It's only room for love. When love's there and it's this big, nothing else can exist. It just can't. Like I just can't. There's nothing I'm afraid of. There's nothing I'm worried about. It's just pure fucking love. I swear. Oops, excuse me. Sometimes you have to. Norma, would you like to have some final words?
You know, love for self ultimately brings you to understand love of life. It really does. And with everything that you do, honor it, bless it, love it, and as you do this continually, whether it's food, water, time, an individual, or no matter what it is,
Yeah.
when you're coming from a loving place, you'll be surprised at how that's reflected back. And an example I can give you is I ran up to Walmart not but a little while ago before I came on with you, and I was talking to the ladies behind the counter, and they were interacting with me. We were laughing, and there was another lady that was standing between them, and she was scratching their back, and they were talking about ice cream and stuff, and just having fun with the conversation. And so, as I was talking to the ladies, the lady that was kept scratching the other girls' backs came around and started scratching mine. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. That I appreciate that. Yes, I will not deny that. I got a scratch back, a back scratcher at the house. I said, I'm the one that has to do it all the time. This is nice. So, of course, how you are and how you approach and wherever you take yourself, there you are every time. So you get to choose as to how you present yourself in every moment, wherever it is you're going. So always, always, always go out there from the heart because you will begin to see the beauty this place
Yeah.
always has to offer. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, and it was good because last night even Jade, as we're walking around, she's like, okay, when we were in Europe, and so we've been she came to oh my goodness, I'm having a brain fart. We went to Europe together and did a few cities, and Venice was one of them. And when we were there, she said, "You know what, Mom? I kind of like European at night better. It has a nicer feel. So she likes the vibe over there more." And I'm like, awesome. Because we're probably not coming back anytime soon. So
Right.
right now we're leaving early October for Egypt. And then we started to look at what's all around Egypt. I'm like, oh, we could go. I want to go to Greece. I want to do that. She's getting all excited. I'm like, we can go explore. Absolutely. I'm
Yes.
thinking I can see being on a boat and going over there, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, so when you start to create your life instead of consuming your life, then yeah, absolutely. There's just so much more that can happen. So make sure that you are really focusing on what you do want, right? Because where your attention goes, the energy flows. And
Yes.
even if it's some healing that you need, start believing that it's already happening, right? So I have a little, gratitude list that I do, and then I go into, oh, I'm so excited that this, and this is all being resolved every day. Like it's just done. And so, by shifting your energy and your perspective on things. Also, what do you need to do to shift your energy? So I have something that I actually do. We can help Doug with his back. Thanks, 17Q, for letting me know. There's a recording that I put in the group this morning in the Telegram group with all the Devi, with all the chants. And that
Beautiful.
chant, man, I just have to listen to that. It's 20 minutes. And
Sure. Right.
boom, I'm completely reset. So if I have to go in and do my Powell painting stuff for a bit and then I come back out, it's a beautiful way to shift the energy. So what do you need to do to shift your energy? Whatever you need to do is for you. Some people, I can go to nature, I can meditate, napadate, I can listen to some specific music, I can dance around the house, I can just be really present and like do something like get the dishes done so that I'm like, oh, I accomplished something and then just cleared stuff out of me as well. So yeah, what do you need to do for you? So awesome. I'm sending you lots of love, you guys. Yeah. And until next time, and in half an hour, as listed down here, we'll be back with Seraphine and I to have a conversation about Egypt specifically. Okay. We love you. Yeah. Any questions, reach out.